boys, it's me, Ms.Tina. I turned myself into an egg. What do you call alien eggs? Extraterrestrial! Let's get started with our hello song. Hi, hello, and how are you? How are you? How are you today? I hope you're having an excellent day. I have some exciting news for you today. We're going to find out what happened to Humpty Dumpty after the fall.
My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. I'm sort of famous for that part. Folks call it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city, but I could never do it because I knew that accidents can happen. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches, but day after day I kept trying and trying until I got it just right. My plane was perfect, and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Unfortunately, accidents happen. They always do. I almost walked away again, but then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing one step at a time until I was no longer afraid. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Crack, crack. Hopefully you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. And learned how to fly. Since we just finished reading about Humpty Dumpty, I thought it would be a good idea for us to learn his nursery rhyme. If you know the rhyme, you can say it with me. If you don't, you can listen so you can learn it. I have my special finger pointer here, so let's say the words together. Ready? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Oh no, Humpty Dumpty, he needs some help. Hey friend, yeah, wanna hear a yoke? Arr, 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 arr. Okay, so today we're going to be making our own Humpty Dumpty since we read the wonderful book After the Fall, And you can see my examples here. There's two different ways you can make your Humpty. You can, and he opens up too. You can put his face on top and then his body here on the bottom half. And then you can, whoops, you can open him and close him. Or this one I thought was really fun. I put his face on top, but I put his mouth, like I drew it right over the part where it cracks open so that he can talk, and it looks like he's really talking. Hi there, friends. Arr, I'm Humpty Dumpty. Okay, so let's get started. If you have an activity kit, you already have your egg, and this little thing right here that makes it move up and down is a hinge, but it's called a brad. And so there's your cracked egg. If you don't, you can always go to the El Reno Carnegie Library website and you can print a blank egg and make your own. It doesn't even have to have the brad. You could staple it or tape it, whatever you want to do. Okay, so to get started, he needs some eyes. And I've got my markers with me today. So you will need markers or crayons. Okay, all right. I like to make 2 ovals, and then I'm gonna put a dot, well, a filled in circle to make his eyes, and then I'm gonna get a different color, but you know, you can use whatever color you want. I think I'm gonna get black for his nose. It's gonna be a little U shape. There, and it looks like he's smiling, but not yet. That's just his nose. And then, let me get a better black marker. Then we've got to draw, you can see my example, we've got to draw his mouth. Well, his mouth is going to be over the cracked part of the egg. So, we're going to start with the line here, and we're going to draw it real big here, okay? Ha-ha. And then I am going to draw, and it's okay if you mess up. I'm going to draw a curve here, and there's his tongue, so that when he talks, it looks like his tongue is moving. If you want, you can make 2 circles for his cheeks, and then you can make it a girl one if you want to add a bow on top, or you can add, like I did on this one, I added a tie because this is how I made the tie. I made a diamond, and then I made a really long diamond, and then I just drew across so we could see his pants. I think I'm going to make this a Mrs. Humpty Dumpty, and I'm going to make her a bow by drawing a circle, and then you have like a triangle coming out. I always kind of sketch these. There we go. Okay. And I think I'm going to give her maybe a frilly dress. Ooh. Okay. So now I can go in and color it in any colors that I want to use. I'm going to use pink for her cheeks. And then, do you know what color this is? You're right, it's purple. I'm going to use purple for her bow. Can you think of a word that rhymes with purple? How about Wurple? Wurple. That's hard to say. And then I'm going to, let's see what other color. Ooh, this is one of my favorite colors after pink. Turquoise. Or some people call it teal. I'm going to color her outfit this, and I'm just going to get started. I'm not going to finish coloring it on camera, but I will show you when I finish. And then before, you know what? I think I'm going to add to her eyes some eyelashes, because Mrs. Humpty Dumpty, maybe she likes mascara, which is makeup. And then I need to do her tongue too. So let's see. I'm going to use pink. You can use red. Some of these markers kind of smear, but it's all good. Well, I hope you're having a good summer. I hope you didn't get a sunburn like me. I got a sunburn just driving in my car. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so there's her mouth. So she's like, hi there, Humpty. Okay, so I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to show you my finished Humpty Dumpty woman, Mrs. Humpty Dumpty. All right, okay. So here's Mrs. Humpty Dumpty and Mr. Humpty Dumpty, and I'm going to make them talk. Hi there. Hey. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I have no idea. Let's go to the library and find out. Okay. Thank you for making a craft with me. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a mess to pick up.